How a con man stole millions from small business owners and some ways to protect yourself coming up.
A controversial movie that's been the subject of talks of cyber attacks and threats will be shown in the Bluegrass.
Winds and rain and mild temperatures have been around for most of your Christmas Eve. Anything but Christmas-like. But it looks like the cool air and maybe a flake or two possible. I'll have the latest coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on Christmas Eve. Well, we're starting the holiday off on a pretty wet note out there with rain and heavy winds across the Bluegrass. At this point, it does not look like we'll see a white Christmas in Kentucky. WKYT's Jim Caldwell is in the First Alert Weather Center. Jim?
I'll tell you what, Sam, we had a great looking system a few days ago that would at least given us at least maybe a half inch to an inch in snow whipping around. It fell apart, and of course what we have out there is part of that system, but it never materialized to what it could have been. So we're tracking rain and high winds, which we've been talking about those high winds since last week, the potential to have that. And we've been seeing wind gusts 40 up to 50 miles per hour. Right now on Kentucky's most powerful live Doppler, we are tracking those showers moving through the area. The back edge, at least of this leading area, is almost through central Kentucky completely. We'll see a few more stragglers during the overnight and into the early morning hours, and those winds will continue. The wind advisory itself runs through 9 o'clock, but will likely hold on to that, at least some 20-25 mile per hour wind gusts overnight. So here we go. Tonight, gusty showers working through the area. Winds will start to calm some overnight compared to what they are now. Christmas morning, maybe a few flakes of snow. That's really about it. And then a little breezy and much colder through the day on Christmas. There's your breakdown, and we'll take a closer look at all of it coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Jim. People at Bluegrass Airport dealing with some delays today after the power went out for nearly an hour. We were there while travelers were stuck in the dark at the airport and crews attempted to restore power. According to Kentucky Utilities, the wind blew a ground wire into a main line, causing it to short out, and that's when the system shut down along Versailles Road all the way to the airport. Power is back up and running. It is one of the most talked about films of the year. The Interview, scheduled to premiere last week, was delayed after a cyber attack and threats. Well, now the film will be shown in more than 200 theaters across the country, including one in central Kentucky. WKYT's Phil Pendleton talked to managers at the Georgetown Theater about the opening. It's our top story at 5:30.
Going to the multiplex on Christmas Day is a holiday tradition for many.
We are here to provide entertainment for the community.
But this year, one of those entertainment options was suddenly silenced, yet the theaters in Georgetown quickly jumped at the chance to show The Interview when it was offered up again.
And they offered it to the independent theaters and the artsy theaters, and we just slid it right back into our lineup because we had never pulled it.
I think Sony made a bad call by dropping it. I mean, this is America. We're all about First Amendment, and I'm glad that they changed their mind, and I'm glad this theater is picking it up.
The Georgetown Theater may be one of only a few showing it in central Kentucky now, but the Kentucky Theater in downtown Lexington aims to get it eventually.
But Sony Pictures reached out to the Kentucky Theater and said, would you like to play this film?
Contractual obligations won't allow them to show it now, but they hope to get it sometime after the first of the year.
We also feel like that one of the reasons that we would like to show it is that the freedom of speech issue and also the artistic expression.
With the major chains opting out of showing The Interview, the Kentucky Theater could be the only one to show it in Lexington. Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The Interview is also being offered via some streaming services. If you'd like a list of movie times for theaters of Georgetown, just go to WKYT.com. Shoppers packing the malls and stores today, trying to pick up those last-minute gifts for Christmas. WKYT's Sam Smith headed out to Fayette Mall to talk to shoppers wrapping up some last-minute shopping.
It's Christmas Eve. You may have waited until the last minute, but you're not too late. And today you might get a good deal.
Well, actually, a week ago, something that I looked at was about $20 higher than it was today. So I actually have gotten a lot of bargains today.
On this day, shoppers and shop owners will tell you, a lot of us men come strolling through the doors. more than any other day.
Well, you know how that goes. Now, men are they always wait to the last minute, but at least they do something. But yeah, you always see a lot of men out on Christmas Eve.
I don't think it's a man thing. I just think it's the situation.
Some men wait to the last minute. I guess we may not be as enthused about the shopping part, about Christmas versus maybe the women. But not all men shop late or wait to the last minute, but I'm guilty of it.
Although shopping needs to be done, this seems to be our favorite spot. So why do some of us wait until the last minute? Do we see it as a chore?
I think so. I do. I really do. I think guys don't like to go shopping. I think they would rather a lady get all their shopping done for them. It could be because they work every day. They're hard workers.
Well, I basically work all the time, and just whenever I got a chance, this is a chance.
For some of us that see this as work, is there not an easier way to do this?
I will just give the girls the money. You go get everything. I'm gonna take a nap real quick. So,
however you look at it, it's not late, just last minute.
The bottom line is that the presents are there Christmas Day, so that's all that matters. It doesn't matter when you get it, as long as you're there.
In Fayette Mall, Sam Smith, WKYT.
Thank you, Sam. And I am guilty. My wife, Noelle, does most of our Christmas shopping. If you do need to do some last-minute shopping, Fayette Mall will be open until 6 tonight and reopen at 7 on Friday morning. Police in a central Kentucky area are asking for your help after a series of church break-ins. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Hardin County. Police say that Tuesday morning someone broke into the New Jerusalem Seventh-day Adventist and Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church on South Wilson Road. We're told someone also broke into New Life Baptist Church on Logan Street. Police say that person vandalized and stole money from those churches.
Well, that's God's money. That's tithes and offerings that goes to the church throughout the world. And so they're taking it from those that are in need.
And a correction, Hardin County is not in central Kentucky. Anyone with information is asked to call police. And in Lincoln County, a man accused of shooting his granddaughter will now have to face a competency evaluation. According to the Advocate Messenger, a judge ordered Danny Brummett to be evaluated to see if he's fit to stand trial in the case. Investigators say Brummett shot his teenage granddaughter in the leg while trying to shoot his wife last year. He later shot himself in the head. Brummett faces several charges, including attempted murder and assault. He stole millions of dollars by preying on the hopes and dreams of people just trying to make a go of their business. Small business owners looking for funding need to proceed with caution.
Small business owners would present a business plan as well as goals, and Mr. Tobin promised that he had first-hand knowledge of how to receive loans.
Anthony Tobin owned a company that claimed to help small businesses expand with new funding. Tobin's company charged for its services.
The victims were told that they need to pay a due diligence fee or a maintenance fee. Basically, it can be referred to as an application fee to help obtain the loan, but in all actuality, the victims never received any money.
Fees ranged anywhere from $2,000 to $100,000, depending on the size of the business.
Also, they were told after sending money that there was problems receiving the money and other unforeseen difficulties, and they were asked to send more due diligence, more application fee money.
And they did in many cases. So far, 35 victims have lost $5 million. The U.S. attorney in the case had strong words for Tobin. This case should serve as a warning to other fraudsters. Stealing with your guile rather than a gun still lands you in prison.
Many times the people that are victimized are people that are falling on financial hardships, as well as elderly individuals that are just looking for any way to get by, and that seems to be the people that are most vulnerable for these types of advanced fee schemes.
Postal inspectors say there's a way to protect yourself.
Anytime you have someone that's pressuring you to send them money to obtain a loan, you need to make sure and clarify where you're sending your money.
Anthony Tobin was punished. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison for mail fraud and was ordered to pay $2 million in restitution. Some changes coming to Kentucky leadership as we wrap up the year. Bill Bryant takes a look at those who are leaving and those who are stepping into new positions in tonight's Bottom Line.
Good evening. Several longtime Central Kentucky leaders are wrapping up their time in office over the next several days and moving on. Jessamine County Judge Executive Neil Cassidy leaves his post after serving since 1990. He's overseen tremendous growth in the county and decided not to seek re-election. In Madison County, it's bittersweet for longtime Judge Executive Kent Clark. He was first elected in 1993 and won re-election 4 times before being defeated this November. Clark has seen Madison County's population nearly double in his years on the job, and he steered the county into planning and zoning early in his tenure and has worked hard to keep plans for disposal at the Bluegrass Army Depot on track. In Lexington, Vice Mayor Linda Gorton is vacating her post. Her colleagues say she was always good at bringing people together. Gorton has served on the city council for a total of 16 years. She says her retirement will include writing and family time, and she doesn't rule out a possible return to politics in the future. And the Lexington Police Department, about to be under new leadership. Mark Barnard will take over as chief in early January. The new chief says after 28 years on the force, he's ready to lead the organization into a challenging time for law enforcement.
It's been such an honor and a privilege to work in a profession that I really am passionate about, and to be part of the Lexington Police Department for so long, and then to work up through the agency and then finally get to this point, and when it was afforded me the opportunity to be able to apply for it and then have the committee look at it and the mayor look at it and say, yes, you're the person to lead the agency. I'm very fortunate, very blessed with it.
Now, my full Kentucky Newsmakers interview with Chief Barnard and a visit from the Better Business Bureau runs on Kentucky Newsmakers this weekend. Set your DVR or catch it Sunday morning at 6 on WKYT or on its repeat at 10 on the CW Lexington. And Kentucky U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell, who becomes majority leader in a couple of weeks, says his goal will be to return the Senate to normal. McConnell told the Courier-Journal in a year-end interview that he wants to respect the Senate's history and traditions. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
And only a few hours left until Christmas officially begins, and Santa's on his whirlwind around the world journey right now. Here's a look at WKYT.com as the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, tracks his journey. All day, NORAD volunteers are answering phone calls and emails from children wondering when Santa Claus is coming to their town. The 59-year-old program began with a typo in a Colorado Springs newspaper ad that had children calling a high-level military hotline asking for Santa.
The airman who answered the phone was right on message, responded with making sure we were looking at the radar, and gave the caller an idea where Santa was.
And that's how it started. Ever since, NORAD has tracked Santa. Last year, volunteers took 117,000 phone calls and answered 9,600 emails.